Good morning and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk Radio. So today we're going to be talking about the viral TikTok sensation called Lucky Girl Syndrome. So Lucky Girl Syndrome is basically the idea that if you truly believe that you're lucky, you'll draw experiences to you. So it's a manifestation technique. And it's a law of attraction technique that shifts you from a negative mindset, obviously, to a positive mindset where you believe that the universe is working in your favor. And I've seen a ton of videos talking about it, mostly from people on TikTok. And I think that it's kind of branched out to more social media platforms at this point. I think it started about, like a week or two ago. But some people are now saying that they don't agree with it. They think it's toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. I disagree. I see how they could think that, but I disagree. And we're going to talk about that today. So, if you guys aren't already familiar, I would assume that you are if you're following my podcast, familiar with the idea of the law of attraction and as well the law of assumption. The law of attraction was talked about. I'm not sure how long ago that book came out, but in the book The Secret, maybe about 15 years ago, it came out along with the movie. And so the law of attraction is essentially that we create our own reality, that our thoughts create our reality. And so it essentially tells you to try and think positive thoughts, to try and visualize the things that you want to come to you, to talk about the things that you want to come to you, because that's how you're manifesting those things into your reality. It's also saying things like when you're continually picturing the things that you don't want, you're also calling forth those things into your reality. And the law of assumption is, like I said, very similar, where you're assuming that the universe is always working in your favor. So you're assuming that everything is working out for you and that the universe has your back. It always has your back. Everything's always going to go smoothly for you. So this lucky girl syndrome, I believe, aligns with the law of assumption. So there was a video with two girls, I think, who originally started it, who were talking about lucky girl syndrome, and that they started saying an affirmation, which is everything is always working out for me. And they kept saying it multiple times throughout their day. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me, using that positive affirmation. And their story goes on to say that they manifested all of these things into their lives. And then other people started using that same affirmation, and they were posting stories about all of these things that they manifested into their life: a new job, a new partner, a new home, new opportunities, that sort of thing. And I do agree with The Secret and the law of attraction, the law of assumption, that our thoughts do create our reality, but also it's our action that are in alignment with those thoughts that create our reality, which we're also going to talk about today. So another thing is there was a girl, I believe her name was Kiera Lewis 75, I think was her username, and she talked about being delusional. This was maybe a month ago. Also another TikTok sensation, like a viral video that went. And so she essentially was kind of saying the same thing, where she said, I'm just delusional that everything is going to work out for me, that everything is always going in my favor, that all of the things that I want are flowing to me, and that I am successful, confident, all of those things. So this is a hard concept for a lot of people to grasp, because they're like, you're being delusional. You're not rooted in reality. And it's like, I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, you have to, in a way, be delusional about the things that you want, about your dreams. Because if you actually sat there and, for example, perfect example, when anybody is first starting kind of a journey online or a new business, or let's say they want to be a content creator online and they're starting to post things online, a lot of times, most of the time, you will get zero response from people for a long time. And if you just looked at that and simply looked at like, wow, nobody's engaging with me, I guess I'm not supposed to be doing this. Guess I'll quit now. Like, no, you have to be, I guess we'll call it delusional in a way, and say to yourself, no, like it's coming, it's coming. The people that are going to support me are coming. The people that are going to love me are coming. They just haven't found me yet. And you have to be delusional in that way and confident that things are coming and you are participating in that law of assumption. So unfortunately, it does kind of have to take place a lot of times in our lives. You have to just assume that things are coming, assume that it's all going to work out for you. Be delusional, be confident, and just know that the universe is always working in your favor, right? Another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that I know that Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you've ever read his book, Becoming Supernatural, I know he has multiple books, but Becoming Supernatural, I believe, is where he talks about neurons that fire together, wire together. And so a lot of times, and I write about this in my book that's currently in the process of being published, that the thoughts that you're thinking are most likely the same thoughts that you thought the day before, right? And those neurons are being connected in a way that you're going to repeat that same, oftentimes negative thought pattern over and over and over. So for example, if you're thinking something like, I'm no good, I'm worthless, I can't do this, etc., you're probably thinking that same thought the day before, the day before that, the day before that. And those neural pathways are being built in your mind. So anytime something else comes up, you're going to think that same thought. You're going to go down that same negative path, right? So in order to shift our very oftentimes negative thoughts, you have to begin to create new neural pathways. And a great way to do that is by using positive affirmations. There are many beautiful ways to do that, including hypnotherapy is another one that comes to mind. But using positive affirmations is a beautiful way to do that. I can attest that positive affirmations have changed my mind, my mindset, and have changed my neural pathways. I'll give you an example. Years ago, when I used to look in the mirror, I would point out all of the things that I hated. I would look at my thighs or my skin tone or my hair or my weight or whatever, and I would point out and nitpick all of those things as I was standing in front of the mirror. And one day I decided, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm going to point out all of the things that I love every time I stand in front of the mirror. And some refer to this as mirror therapy. And so every time I stood in front of the mirror, and it was hard at first because you're so used to going down those same negative thoughts, negative paths in your mind, it was hard to then say, no, okay, what do I love about myself? Okay, I love my eyes, I love my hair, and starting to, each time I looked in the mirror, point out all of those things that I loved. So now, when I look in the mirror, I try and point out everything that I love about myself. So I've created new neural pathways in my mind to think positively about my body. And not only that, I've become aware of those negative thoughts. So when I see that they're coming up, for example, those pathways, those negative pathways that are in your mind, they're not going away. You're just simply creating a new one. So they're still there, still able for you to go down, right? And so sometimes when I'm standing in front of the mirror, I will catch myself going into a negative pathway, and I'll become aware that I'm going down that negative pathway, and I'll say to myself, "No, we're not doing this," and I'll create the new one. I'll say a positive affirmation about myself, or a positive mantra, right? Which is exactly what this lucky girl syndrome is doing by saying everything is always working out for me. Again, it's a positive affirmation. It's just assuming that the universe is working in your favor. And I believe that, again, it is in that same realm, under that same umbrella of helping us to create more positive neural pathways in our mind, to start thinking more positively, right? Because our thoughts do affect our overall mood, and it's causing anxiety, it's causing depression, all of those things. Um, we're not really looking at the fact that our thoughts are one of the main sources of our anxiety. Um, I used to experience panic attacks, and I've talked about this multiple times. And meditation and mindfulness and becoming aware of the thoughts that I was thinking was one of the biggest catalysts to me no longer experiencing panic attacks. I haven't experienced a panic attack, I believe it's been 10 years. Um, and realizing that, wow, it was my thoughts, projecting my thoughts into the future about a possible scary, worrisome situation that could happen. And I started experiencing panic. Um, so becoming aware that I was thinking those thoughts, becoming aware that I was going down that pathway in the mind and changing it, or just coming back to the present moment, right? That's what ultimately helped me. So I think I've already said it, but this is why I do not believe that this is toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. But let's talk about those things because I understand why people think that. So, toxic positivity is essentially staying positive or staying falsely positive, regardless of how you're feeling. So let's say you're feeling sad, you're feeling worried, you're feeling depressed. And instead of addressing those things, talking about those things, journaling about those things, experiencing your emotions, allowing yourself to cry, whatever it is, you simply say, no, I'm not experiencing that. And just focus on the positive, right? That's toxic positivity. It's only staying positive regardless of what's going on. Let's say your house is burning behind you, but you're like, no, I'm still positive. That's toxic positivity. Obviously, you're going to have emotions about your house burning down or whatever metaphor you want to choose. But um, again, it's staying positive in moments where it's like you don't need to be positive right now. Like you're allowed to experience your emotions, and you should, because emotions can get stuck in the body if you're not allowing yourself to feel them and release them. And spiritual bypassing is essentially very similar to toxic positivity. You're bypassing the feelings that you're truly feeling to go back to quote unquote positivity. So again, if you're feeling sad, it's bypassing that sadness. I'm not feeling sad. Nope. I'm positive. I'm happy. That's spiritual bypassing. So again, I don't believe that this lucky girl syndrome is spiritual bypassing, unless, of course, you are feeling sad or you are really truly going through something and you're saying, nope, nope, I'm not looking at that. I'm not experiencing those emotions. I'm not journaling it. I'm not working through it. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to pretend like it's all okay. Of course, that would be spiritual bypassing. But I don't think there's anything wrong with using positive affirmations, such as everything is always working out for me, to help shift your mindset, to help create new positive neural networks and new neural pathways in the mind. I think that that's a beautiful thing. So, another thing I want to talk about is, and I think I said this in the beginning, true manifestation is a combination. I'm actually going to read you a quote that I found online. So, in true manifestation, it is the combination of effort of the person willing to assume that everything's always working out for them and action to make that happen. So I know a lot of people, they have doubts about the law of attraction, understandably. Um, However, I think that the thing is, I do believe in the law of attraction, regardless if it's just simply thinking that everything's going to work out for you and it does, or if it's thinking everything is going to work out for you, so you take aligned action to make that happen. Because, for example, this reads into, gosh, there's a part of me for a long time that was like, if it's meant to be mine, it'll be mine. But then there was another part of me that was like, okay, well, if it's meant to be yours, you still have to take aligned action towards that thing. It's not just going to appear in your life. So I feel like this is around the same concept. Like, yes, the universe is always working in your favor. And once you make a decision towards something that you're wanting, you're going to notice that the universe will literally put people and experiences into your path that are meant for you. I just got goosebumps. And that is your path to follow. They are like opening the doors for you and showing you the way. Um, but you still have to take aligned action. Sitting on your couch and doing nothing while wishing for this wonderful, magnificent business to come into your life, like it's not just going to appear. You have to take action. So, and I can attest to that. Like I really have been putting in the work towards growing my business, especially the past few months. I started my business 3 years ago, and offering the seminars and workshops. And the past few months, I really have been just full force trying to make it happen. I will, I will quit my job in 2023 and pursue this business full time. I will. And again, if that's me being delusional, then I'm being delusional. Like I truly know in my soul, every single time I say that out loud, I get goosebumps, because goosebumps again. I know that this path, that this business, that these things are meant for me. I start to almost cry. I'm like, it's starting to well up inside me right now because I'm joyful. When I'm really happy and joyful, I tend to cry. That's just the expression that presents itself is tears when I'm really, really happy. I think that it's like that for a lot of women. And every time I think about this, I start to cry because I'm just excited, and I know that I'm hopefully going to be creating so much, um, just helping people, helping people with their stress, helping people with their anxiety, hopefully helping the global workforce be more calmer and live a more balanced and mindful life. Like that's what I truly want. I think that I have not think I know I have changed my life. Um, that I am not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I don't think the same way, and I don't want the same things. And I know that through meditation, through breath work, through journaling and positive affirmations, mantras, all of these things, you can shift out of hustle culture, reduce your stress level, reduce your anxiety level. I've taken away my panic attacks. Like all of those things I want to teach to others because I see the benefits. I saw the benefits in myself, and now I want to give that to others. So, another thing along the topic for today of Lucky Girl Syndrome, I found this song. I don't know if any of you follow Abraham Hicks, but I believe it's Esther Hicks, technically, that she was quoted in the book The Secret, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that. But it's called Modern Headspace, created a video on YouTube, which has her saying that affirmation, everything is always working out for me, along to music. So I've been playing it lately. Like when I'm working, I usually have some sort of music playing in the background. And a lot of times it's like a lo-fi beat where it's not actually words. It's just like a really calming, beautiful melody that's playing in the background. So I really like this one because it is that lo-fi beat, but it has Abraham's voice talking over it saying everything is always working out for me. So I wanted to play it for you guys. And I'm also going to put the YouTube link in the episode description so that if you guys want to listen to it, you can access it there. So let me play it for you. So that's the video. It does go on for a while. It just continues on with that. But I really like it. I really like listening to it. Like I said, when I'm working and I'll sing along to it. It's just another form of a positive affirmation, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think that it's a beautiful tool to help to shift your mindset. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And again, as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. These episodes, are recorded every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then they are posted to all major podcasting platforms on Monday morning at 7 a.m. And if you have a comment or a question or even an episode idea, you're welcome to leave me a comment or a review. And may you be happy, may you be well, may you be joyous and at ease. Sending you infinite love, and I hope you have a beautiful week. Until next time.